Welcome to the Only Brother Sister podcast, built for teachers, by teachers, dumplings over flowers.
I'm the sister, Nicole.
And I'm the brother, Izzy.
And this podcast is here to take you on a backstage tour of our combined 50 years of experience teaching so that we can help you recognize and celebrate substance over appearance.
Or dumplings over flowers. Yeah. Well, Waterman, spin the wheel.
Waterman.
Crazy train.
Crazy train.
I. Crazy train. All right, so, gosh, this is like...
This is yours. This is your
deal. Can of worms. All right. Well, that is mine only because it is sometimes my walk-up song. So tell our devoted fans what a walk-up song is in baseball.
Well, it's that. It doesn't have to be baseball.
Oh,
right?
See? I didn't even know.
You know? In fact, yeah, I mean, every sport has some way, shape, or form. My daughter had to give a walk-up song for her volleyball. It was the hardest thing she's ever done.
What did she pick?
That's a great question. Probably something from Taylor Swift. I don't know.
It was the hardest thing she's ever done, though.
Yeah, you should do the panic.
Yeah. Well, it means a lot.
I guess.
So.
Yeah, so a walk-up song, right, is with the music that comes on when you're introduced. I know it from baseball because I was a baseball player, and you hear it at the stadiums and so on. But I guess, it exists in other spaces, including
in our workshops.
Yep.
That's something that I started doing actually with some colleagues at Stony Brook. We were doing a full day workshop.
Stony Brook what?
Stony Brook University in New York.
Gotcha.
We were doing a full day workshop for using kind of different methods, different vehicles in the arts for how to teach writing.
Oh, wow.
So my portion with my colleague Peter Coast was
that's right.
karaoke.
Didn't you do a workship on that too at a conference?
Constantly, always do. And yes, this was the all day workshop.
Okay.
Karaoke. Lauren Esposito and some other colleagues did something on improv in the writing classroom. And then our two friends, Dave and Bob, did something on music. And part of what they did was the idea, first of all, the Bo Diddley beat. Do you know what that is?
I don't, but I want to.
Oh, once I unlock this for you, you're never going to be the same.
Whoa.
Okay, so the Bo Diddley beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is copyrighted or not, but I'm just going to go for it. Yeah. So I don't think it is if I sing it.
Okay.
So it's like, dun, 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 dun. I'll sing the beat. You sing the song that goes to it. I bet you can. Ready?
Sure.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun,
I'll bet you it'd be nice
dun, 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 dun,
if I can touch your body. You know, and I'm talking about bodies now.
So there's that, but there's also you do the beat. Dun 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 dun. Right.
Dun 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 dun.
I want candy. Right.
I guess that was generational talk,
and
right there.
I guess we're getting but opposites.
Right.
Why are interesting. Fun.
Well, you did the young one, and I did the old one.
I feel like that I did the old one.
I want candy?
Yeah. I feel like that's older. Anyway, the point is, and what was really cool about their workshop is that is called the Bo Diddley beat, right? Huh. And it is replicated in so many songs that you don't, think about or realize.
Now I will.
So exactly. I told you once I opened your eyes, you'll never be the same. Dang. But that is a great metaphor for how we can teach writing, that you're taking some foundational text and then making it your own. Same with karaoke, right? Like you sing a cover song of somebody else's song, and that is it's never going to sound exactly like the original.
You think?
Oh, sometimes you want it to sound that way.
I've been to karaoke bars.
Sometimes you must be you're saying they're terrible.
Yeah.
Oh no, you've only been with me.
Yeah, well.
Oh, nuts.
No. You're not terrible, but it won't sound like the real.
Right. Well, I I can recall you being upset. Like, don't sing like that, sing like you, right? Because it did sound way too close to the real Amy Winehouse. Whatever. Whatever.
I'm sure.
But the idea is that you're taking the conventions of something or the foundation of something or an example of something and using that to make your own. So whether that's like an exemplar for a student, and I think you say this all the time, like they're going to copy you. You know, their teachers are always worried. If I give them my example, they're going to copy it. And you say all the time.
Sometimes that's the only voice they have. And,
Great.
And if your voice becomes their voice, that gives them the foundation and the chance to create their own. Right?
Exactly.
So I hear you.
So anyway, this all is just kind of leading up to the idea that in that same workshop, we talked about walk-up songs and how important they were to kind of express your voice and your personality and choose who you are and all that, which then we made a part of our workshops at Mosaic, because the idea of identifying with a song for different reasons was really, really intriguing.
Very.
And it was really personal, and it was a vulnerable moment.
And it tells you something. I think the one that I remember most was when we did the leadership workshop.
I knew what you were going to say.
And
all the way up.
Yeah, and I forgot the titles of others, but it so matched the personality of the leader and the leadership style of the leader that it was almost too spot on. But it was very interesting to hear what people would choose to represent them. And that kind of goes also connected to some other things we do in that way to kind of figure out what is your voice? Who are you as a teacher?
And what's your aspirational voice? Like, who do you want to be? What do you want to be?
Yeah. Have you, did you ever experience students and ask them to guess your walk-up song? Don't you think that would be pretty revealing?
I do.
That would be interesting.
I don't know if they'd guess Crazy Train.
Why is it? I think yours is Crazy Train because it's just cool. It's a cool
awesome.
intro.
Yeah, of course.
It's like Enter Sandman.
However, I do feel like sometimes, we're going off the rails on a Crazy Train is pretty appropriate. And I like to have that style of teaching or like leading or being. And I like the unexpected. I like the music, of course, but I like the way that makes me feel personally. And that's another thing that was really interesting in that workshop you're talking about with our leaders. We got some really great insights about why people chose their songs because we asked them to explain. Yeah. But it wasn't always about like, this is how I want people to see me. It was like, for me, of course, I want to walk into a room and have people think I'm driving their crazy train off the rails. No. But
it's not literal.
For me.
It's not literal.
No. But for me to whatever like is in that song and that music and whatever, it just sparks in me like excitement and I'm getting ready for something and Do
you think your song has changed over the years?
Yeah. Great question.
Oh, thanks.
I'm so glad you asked it. Yeah, my song changes constantly. You know that.
Can you talk about the teaching continuum that we speak of, and then kind of maybe we can do a little test and see what song you would have picked during the continuum.
Interesting. Okay, so the teaching continuum we talk about is from your first 3 years when you're like hopeful and don't laugh at them and really excited.
If they listened back a couple of episodes ago to First Keys Last Day.
Yes. Well, you make hopeful. It past your first minute.
That would be
your first day.
Yeah.
And you are, figuring things out. You're in survival mode, some like to say. That's your first early career stage.
Okay.
The next stage is our 3 to 5 years. And those are people who are gaining some confidence, right, able to take some risks at this point, feeling like they kind of know what they're doing enough to make a few mistakes, maybe even on purpose.
Ooh.
Maybe.
There's another episode.
Mistakes on purpose.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Well,
there are mistakes, not on purpose that I pretended were, but that's another story. Go on.
That's a very special episode.
That's right.
then we have our emerging leaders. So those are our more experienced teachers who have felt what it's like maybe to mentor somebody a little bit informally. And then we have our official emerging leaders, right? That are going into educational leadership. The El Guapo leaders. Yep. So maybe along that continuum, I don't know. I think.
Yeah. Where would you, what was Crazy Train like your first 3 years? Would that be a good representation?
No. Maybe if you think about like the idea that that's crazy, but I feel like that was more my risk-taking years.
Okay.
You know, that I was
so go ahead.
Really
early career. What do you got?
Early career, I would have to say was a little bit more sad.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay. No, my early career, like most, it was exciting. It was confusing. It was a blur. It was a whirlwind. It was like surviving something with, close friends who I started with, it was also their first year. I had a little clutch of friends. So I don't know. I think it would be something, maybe just because of hindsight, I'm feeling like it'd be something more melancholy, but
okay.
I don't know. I don't know exactly the song I'd pick, but
like the theme song from Apocalypse Now, maybe?
No, like the Family Ties theme song or something.
The Doors, This Is the End.
No.
Got it. All right. So then you're saying your risk-taking years were Crazy Train years. Love
all
that.
The way, yeah.
Your emerging leadership.
My emerging leadership walk-out song, walk-up song, walk-in song. Walking out song is very different.
That is different. That's a good point.
So my walk-up song for my emerging leadership years, I'm going to say Sweet Emotion.
Oh.
Extended intro.
Oof. Live?
No.
Okay.
Too
good.
unpredictable.
Yeah.
Extended intro, Sweet Emotion. Because I felt like I could settle into the longer intro in my career at that moment. Take a little time.
Confident in your own skin.
A little bit.
Yeah.
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 And I was
Steven Tyler
settling.
moment.
Yep.
Like before he was 90 and still doing it.
Yes. Before he looked like somebody's aunt.
He's always
favorite
looked
aunt.
Like that. Oh, God rest your soul, Aunt Sue.
Oh,
it's my girl.
I know.
I called her mom before our own mother.
What?
Yeah. She took care of me my first few months of life.
What do you think her walk-up song would be?
Oh, it had to be Start Me Up from the Stones.
Yes. I love that.
100%.
Amazing. All right. Comment if you know our aunt.
Yeah. And like and subscribe. Wait, no.
Waterman, that's her song, right? Right. And then my leadership song, that changes all the time. So I feel like that's more of, this is going to be, you're going to just maybe cringe out a little, but I feel like that I would pick more of like
I wouldn't cringe out.
Duet or a group song, right? Like in karaoke, you have to read the room and you have to pick the song that matches the vibe of the room. And Peter Coast and I can tell you in such great detail why. Don't ever ask to see his karaoke list on his phone. It's under password lock and key, and it's intense.
Wow.
Anyway, and it's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But at the beginning of the night, you're not going to start off with "Don't Stop Believing."
You don't come with "Paradise by the Dashboard Light" right off the cuff.
That's not an opener.
Got it.
Nope. You got a little more action, a little less conversation.
Okay.
A little me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Don't Stop Believing is like middle of the night. Okay. We are feeling this. We're in this together. Everybody hold up your drinks. Just a small town boy.
A girl, or boy?
Born and raised in South Detroit.
And that's a wrap, everyone. Thank you for...
Anyway, you started this. So anyway, what was I talking about?
Aunt Sue?
No, leadership.
Got it.
So I feel like that's more of like the duet moment. I really now want to involve other people in this. My leadership
are you thinking of a
song has to be.
Of a song? Talk to me.
No, it's not that.
It's not Summer Lovin'.
It's not. It's Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
No, I'm really upset now.
It's not. What is it? I don't know. You got me nervous.
God, does the name?
Oh my God! Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry. Okay, no. Yeah. So I think we could say our walk-up song for this stage of life.
You said a duet. Tell the people.
I can't. I think the only way to tell them.
Yeah, no. I don't sing it when we're alone in a car.
Yes, you do.
No, well, I might, but I'll do Michael McDonald's verse.
I'll do Michael McDonald.
No,
but yes, you do. I'm always the Kenny Loggins.
This Is It from Kenny Loggins.
Is it ever?
Michael McDonald.
Is it ever? Thank you, Kenny Loggins. You have gotten us through some really tough mornings.
Here's a class to Kenny right there.
To Kenny, and Michael. Come on,
Michael's all right, but the soundtrack of our life has been.
Oh
Kenny
my gosh,
Loggins
I cannot
in
even
general.
believe that I
Where
didn't say
were
that immediately.
you? I can't. I'm like,
sorry.
I was trying to toss you softballs the whole time.
Wow. So that I feel like that would be our walk-up song.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to making this relevant.
Okay, sure.
So when you worked with your students, right, with the idea of walk-up song,
are you talking about my student-teacher students? My pre-service
anybody
teacher
that you've
students?
done this with.
That's my main audience for this. So I've always done this as part of my...
But what about a teacher listening and wanting to take this concept and kind of work with it? So what's the why, and then give us a how?
The why to picking your walk-up song is to... It could be a few... There could be a few whys behind it, but one of them is... what is your aspirational identity? Who do you want to be when you walk in that room? How do you want to feel? How do you want to carry yourself? If you're walking into Crazy Train, you are not slumping your shoulders and walking in.
You better step up.
You better kick that door down and get in there. So that's a why. Yeah.
100%.
There's also the idea that you want to have, the song reflect maybe like a piece of your journey, how we just matched it to like this timeline kind of idea.
Isn't it? Yeah. See, that's the humanities side of it, which is really cool. Waterman, we're not going to be able to mathify this one, I don't think. But
I don't think so.
But
yes.
that piece of the journey where they're getting self-aware, and could this work in a kindergarten? Could this work in a first grade classroom?
I just pictured my son who said recently there was an opportunity for karaoke.
He said that?
No.
Oh.
No, I said that
Got it.
to you. We were in a situation where there was an opportunity for karaoke to happen. And I said, oh, do you want to... Just don't even ask.
All right, go. I'm sorry. Where are you?
In the bars, okay? I took him to the bar.
There's an opportunity for karaoke to happen.
I don't remember. That's why I said it that way.
It was that way. Okay, go.
Oh, it was in our car. So we have a Tesla.
What?
We have a Tesla. And on the screen of the Tesla, it's
Waterman, put me in for a raise, please.
You could do karaoke, which is the best invention ever. So we were doing karaoke and we were all excited about it. And it's like a really fun family thing to do in the car. And I said, oh, do you want to, sing? And he was like, yeah. I said, what do you want to sing? So I feel like this is his moment to have like his kind of walk-up song.
Yeah.
And he wanted to sing Believer by Imagine Dragons. Oh. And that child knew every single word.
Wow.
And he finishes.
He's 3.
Stop.
I'm just kidding.
He's 7. That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And he finishes and I was like, how did you, where was that? What, why,
yeah.
How? And he said, oh yeah, I used to do karaoke at Summer Buddies, his summer program.
There you go.
I said, how did you pick your song? And he said, I like that song. It makes me feel happy excited. He has 2 exciteds, nervous excited or happy excited.
Well, don't we all?
So he categorizes a lot of things according to like the feeling, how does your belly feel? Nervous excited or happy? Okay. That makes me feel happy excited. So teachers, you can choose nervous excited or happy excited.
Yeah, well, that is a huge thing, right? And that was a big piece of your karaoke workshops and the way you would work with your pre-service teachers on vulnerability, right? Is that connected here?
If you've never sang karaoke and you're a teacher, first of all, go ahead and go for it because you got this. But if you're ever wondering what it's like to be a teacher and you're not, go sing karaoke. You have a script, you have a lesson plan, your song is right there, the lyrics are there. But oh my goodness, is that anxiety inducing and everybody's counting on you and looking at you and waiting for you. And yeah, it's nervous excited.
Yeah, nervous excited.
Yeah.
So, all right. Back to some action steps and maybe some ideas of some call to action. So we have a how. Have a why, sorry.
Yeah, there are a couple different reasons you choose a walk-up song. And honestly, there's also another little
go back to the first one. What was the first one?
The first one was to kind of help you visualize your aspirational identity.
Love that.
The second one was to like portray a message about, maybe where you are in space and time or your development or whatever, or your actual identity, let's say, right? And then it's also just fun. This is something we do as just an icebreaker. So for us, in our workshops, when we do it, we ask people to choose a walk-up song and talk about why and all that. But then every time we ask for a volunteer, we can just, hit that walk-up song and they know exactly who we're calling on.
So that's a how, too. Like instead of pulling popsicle sticks, right? With
for
names
sure.
on it, we're playing a song. And what's really interesting in that regard is the way that others around the students react to their song and to them. So there's a bit of vulnerability there for the kids. It's very important. In fact, that was my daughter's biggest problem, was
karaoke.
Being judged. No, when she had to pick her song.
Right.
The reason it was so hard for her was because she gave me a song. Okay. Now, I'm no prude, but I'm not about the inappropriate language life, even with my teenagers. It's just not a part of our day-to-day system. She comes out with a song that I won't name, but I'm like, that like the next line is like just littered with horrible lyric and terrible word. And she's like, yeah, but they won't play that probably. I'm like, you don't know that you want that to represent you. Right. So we had a little conversation around that, which was cool. And a good teachable moment in a sense. And maybe the answer was going to be, yeah, I don't care. And it can represent me. Well, that's different. But that wasn't the point. It really made her stop and think. And but the reason she was choosing it wasn't because she loved it and it wanted to represent her. It was because she knew everybody else loved it.
Well,
right. Yep. And so how do we deal with that? How do we get past and help teachers to create an atmosphere where some vulnerability can exist on the part of the kids?
I think that's dumplings over flowers, right? Like
there it is.
We don't want to just have the flowers where we're like, oh, kids, here's my walk-up song, and it's, Cardi B or something, right?
Or whomever.
Like, oh, I'm cool, and I can hang with you guys.
Yeah.
We want the substance of, have a conversation about why. And if you want real dumplings, go to Johnny's Dumplings on 22nd Street now. If you want to really get to some substance, what I used to do was then take this a way step farther with our pre-service teachers and have them have to then sing karaoke of their walk-up song.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and
that's big.
That's
big.
Yeah.
Well, you got teachers that have a special handshake with each of the kids when they come in the door, right? The point of that, we always talk about belonging, significance, and fun, right? And so the culture of that being created in the classroom doesn't have to only exist in those ways. I also saw a really cool one of, you choose a handshake, a hug, or and it's almost like you can take those categories and break them down that way.
Yep.
Belonging, significance, fun. Is super crazy handshake or a special song or, something that represents your voice.
Yep.
And I was thinking about that in terms of what you were saying about aspirational goals or the other. Which was the other? What was the second one?
Just like situational identity.
Okay.
Where you're living now and the context that you're in and what you're speaking to and from.
So why, if I'm a teacher of a content area that really is very concerned with the end of year exam and the standards, and I am in a high, I'm going to mathify this a little bit, Waterman. I'm in a heavily tested, high incidence class, like a math class where you really have to, it's not about just coverage. We got to get in deep to these concepts. Why would I ever want to take the time to do something like this in a math class? Does that belong in a math class?
Stop saying math, first of all.
Math class.
Second of all.
It sounds like it's close to master class.
It does.
I
know you don't mean to imply that there isn't this focus on academics and rigor and assessment in other subjects.
No, but I
so
do
we
know
can just insert any other subject where you say,
okay,
math class.
Yes.
But because the people you're concerned about there are human people, and you need to find a way to motivate them to be able to get that depth and to have persistence through a struggle. Mathified it.
Nice.
And to productive struggle, persist through challenges and blah, blah, blah. Math practice standard.
Yeah, sure.
But you want to be able to give them some touchstones of A, humanity, and B, motivation and connection and relevance. You know, why would I want to do anything in school if I'm a kid?
Right. Well,
adult.
that goes back to my favorite TED Talk from my boy Dan Meyer, also mathified, talking about as a math teacher, you know, he's selling a product to a consumer that doesn't want it and has no money to buy it if they did.
Yep.
And so
Amen.
Every day they walk into school, we can probably assume that for each class, even if they end up with a so-called favorite class. Why do you think people have a favorite class?
I don't know. 3 little things.
Like the teacher is one of them.
Significance, belonging,
sure,
and fun.
They have a voice in that room.
The teacher makes that happen.
Yeah. So in a survey of thousands of people, right, they came out with the top 2 reasons why they remember their best teacher, their most fun class, but particularly the person, the teacher. And it was the top 2 answers were because they loved what they did, the teacher, right? So these are students reflecting on their best teacher. They said they loved what they did, implying that they made it fun, and they believed that I could be successful.
Right.
So those are the top 2 reasons why people remember anything about school, and in particular about their best and favorite teacher.
If I could take that, and I'm sure in life we see so many examples of people like, oh, well, wow, why did you want to be a math teacher? Oh, well, Mr. So-and-so, you know, like it's not, calculus, you know, it's right. Rarely that. I mean, maybe some people say that.
It's dumplings over flowers. It
sure
right?
is.
And it's about why you get brought into that moment and how that moment becomes relevant. And if I was connecting, well, I could tell my own story really in short form about why I became a teacher was because Mr. Amato, big shout out to Mr. Amato, he used to teach English using songs exclusively. We would decode all these lyrics to songs and stuff. Never forgot it. I don't even remember the names of half of the teachers I had through middle and high, but I know why I'm here now.
But I know Mr. Amato's home address and his blood type.
And it's on the screen right now if you're watching. That's a joke if you're not watching. So really, again, we go back to, and seems like we're landing a lot in the space of relationship and connection before content. And it's not to say it's more important than content, but it is to say that you can't get to depth of content because that takes vulnerability, it takes risk, it takes being wrong, it takes revision, it takes reflection, it takes all those things to get there. And if you create that atmosphere in your classroom, even in the most ridiculous ways, like picking a walk-up song, and even giving the students flexibility with that and showing them how it changes throughout time, just like Nicole illustrated to us through her journey, then we're really emphasizing process before product. And that's a really important piece.
Dumplings over flowers.
Hey everybody, this is the unseen but ever-present Waterman. Thank you for listening to Dumplings Over Flowers. Our current plan is to have new episodes every other week, so be sure to subscribe to the show on YouTube or follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube or on social by searching Dumplings Over Flowers or @DumplingsPod. That's @DumplingsPod. Also, don't be afraid to leave a comment on our YouTube channel. Your comments, questions, or stories may very well inspire the conversation in our next episode. If you would like to know more about our cloud-based lesson planning platform, you can visit mosaicip.com. Once again, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.